Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Eka and this is the custom Knighthood order guide for Prophecy of Pendor. I hope you guys enjoy. I will talk about all aspects of the custom Knighthood order, including their unlockable equipment, how to best equip them, the best combinations of knights and sergeants, among other things. Bear in mind there will be timestamps in the description if you want to skip to a certain part of the video. Once you become a vassal of a king or a ruler in your own right with a walled fief like a town or castle, you'll be able to start your CKO by talking to your steward and having a quality gem, 20k dinars and 30 honor. I will be addressing the custom Knighthood order as CKO from now on. Your CKO is a very long-term investment, but it's definitely worth it. The knights and sergeants will start with literal trash skills and equipment, using stuff like saddle horses, staves, and very trash swords. However, with a decent amount of money, training, time, and more money, they can become huge powerhouses in your army and be able to rival even the Noldor Twilight Knights. The CKO is a very flexible system that can suit your roleplay needs as well as your min-maxing needs. You will be able to choose the name of the order, the knights and the sergeants, and could choose if one of the troops could be male or female and equip them the way that you want, which makes it possible to have any kind of unit designed exactly the way that you want. I will start off by discussing the important unlockable equipment, as I will use some of it for the unit builds that I will provide later on for your CKO, which is items that can be gained by doing a certain set of actions or by capturing or defeating a unique spawn. First we have the Demon Skin Armor, a very lightweight yet super strong armor piece that is achieved by defeating and capturing Holy Inquisitor Rasmus Devatka of the Inquisition and asking him for his secret equipment. The Asp armor set is provided by defeating and capturing Maltese of the Snake Cult and asking her for the secrets of her equipment. The Noldor Ancient Plate Armor, the Female Maiden Noldor Armor, the Noldor Noble Shield, and the Noldor Spirit Horse, which is the best horse you can get for your CKO, are provided by defeating and capturing Israndir of the Noldor and asking for his secret equipment. The Noldor Rune Armor, the Noldor Enchanted Shield, which is the best shield you can get for your CKO, are provided by defeating and capturing Eldarion of the Noldor and asking for the secrets of his unique equipment. The Noldor Noble Armor set, Noldor Composite Bow, Noldor Arrows, and Noldor Gold Leaf Warhorse, which is all decent Noldor equipment, are provided by having 70 relations with the Noldor and speaking with Calanon in Elecray. The Shadow Legion Armor, Phoenix Plate Mail, and Imperial Radiant Crossplate are provided by defeating Scylla Ozus, and although these are great armors, they are nothing out of this world, and Scylla Ozus is one of the strongest unique spawns, so I would suggest fighting the Noldor instead of this guy, as they provide better equipment overall, unless you really want to make some Empire Knighthood Orders knockoffs by using their armor. The Doom Mace and Netherworld Shield are provided by defeating Igrim the Devourer of the Heretics the first time. You are able to unlock the Mittenheim Arbalist, the best crossbow in Prophecy of Pendor, and the Barclay Arquebus by being the Knight Commander of a Knighthood Order and having 300 proficiencies in crossbow and firearms respectively, and talking to the Knight of your Order. There are other equipment that you can unlock for your CKO, but for the sake of time I only covered the ones that are most important and that you are most likely to use.
Holy Jesus! What is that? What the fuck is that?
In order to equip your CKO with the better and stronger gear, you will need to train them using your companions to raise their skills and stats so that the gear appears in their equipment shop. For example, the Noldor Composite Bow requires 6 power draw to wield. If your troops don't have those 6 power draws, then the Noldor Composite Bow won't appear when you are buying new bows for your troops, until they reach the 6 power draw mark. The game uses a formula when calculating the training of troops that takes place every 18 hours, making 3 weeks the optimal training session, since it is divisible with 18 hours without any remainder. Here's the math. And here is what it means. Simply send Sir Jocelyn or Alistair to train your CKO for 3 weeks at first, and keep repeating until your troops get the basic skills that you like, since those trainers have overall great skills template. Send the Lethal Daron to advance your CKO even more, especially in terms of archery proficiencies, but it is recommended to use the Dust of Twilight and put points into his trainer skill, as he rarely ever starts with one, and he will suck at training without those points, and he is extremely unlikely to be leveled up because of the high level that he starts with. Use Cavalry to train your CKO for Power Throw, use Sigismund to max your CKO's Iron Flash and Power Strike and increase the shield stat, and use Diev Woodenson to max your CKO's Power Draw skill. Bear in mind that you can upgrade your knight's attributes and weapon proficiencies by paying money to the steward, but the amount of money will keep increasing considerably with each upgrade. However, it is highly recommended to do this after you are done with the training using your companions, as if you do it early on, the knights will end up reaching the limits of your companions earlier and will end up with lower attributes and proficiencies overall unless you keep paying more money. And now we will talk about the equipment of your CKO. In order to have an effective CKO, you will need to buy weapons and armor that will fit the playstyle of the troop that you want in your army. However, these equipment are extremely expensive, especially the ones that are unlocked from unique spawns and take a considerable amount of time for your troops to equip it. However, when replacing old equipment, 90% of that equipment's time and cost will be discounted from the new equipment's time and cost. In my opinion, the way to dress your CKO should be up to you in terms of looks, unless you really want to min-max your troops out. Most of the armors will have very similar protection and weight points, so it's best to go for what you think looks the coolest and matches the design of your soldier, as higher value armors will be much more expensive to buy than medium value armors, while providing something among the lines of about 5 or less armor points, which really doesn't make a lot of difference in a fight. Also, if you will be using mounted troops, then you should ignore the weight stat altogether, since it won't have any effects on your troops at all, unless they get dismounted, which is unlikely to happen provided that you get them some decent horses. But make sure to give them decent boots, since they are very likely to be hit in the legs than an infantryman. For infantrymen and foot archers, the Noldor armor are recommended, since they provide great armor values and very low weight, making them extremely fast on the battlefield and easy to reposition when things get hot. In order to realize what are the best builds for your CKO troops, we need to find out the troop roles that are most effective in Pendor. In my opinion, the most effective troops are Heavy Cavalry, Horse Archers with AI turned on, Foot Archers, Heavy Infantry, and Crossbowmen to a lesser extent. So this excludes pure shock infantry that don't use any shields, and medium or light cavalry that require way too much micromanagement by the player to be effective on the field. So what this means is that my suggestion when selecting the builds for your CKO is to go for Heavy Cav, Horse Archers, Heavy Infantry, Skirmishing Heavy Infantry, and Foot Archers. I don't recommend Crossbowmen as the damage doesn't scale with any skill, unlike Archers as their bow damage scales up with their power draw, which results in much more damage compared to the Crossbowmen. The best 3 combinations for your CKO in my opinion are Horse Archers with Foot Archers or Skirmishing Infantrymen, Heavy Cavalry with Foot Archers or Heavy Infantrymen, Skirmishing Infantrymen with Foot Archers. I don't recommend Horse Archers with Heavy Cavalry since they won't sing their attacks appropriately, and I don't recommend Heavy Infantrymen with no skirmishing weapons with Foot Archers, as the Archers won't fire their arrows at the enemy when the Heavy Infantrymen charge in, as they will block their line of sight. Now, I will give you my recommended equipment for the best builds of Heavy Cavalry, Horse Archers, Heavy Infantrymen, Skirmishing Heavy Infantrymen, and Foot Archers respectively, and keep in mind that I will give multiple recommendations for the same build to give you as many options as you need in some cases. Bear in mind that these are my recommendations, so you won't go broke on money while still having decent equipment for the early and mid stages of your order. You should always max it out with whatever you want later on in the late game, as the most elite choices will be obvious but extremely expensive. I do not recommend more than 2 main weapon options, as it will mess up with the AI's head and the unit won't know which weapon to utilize in a specific situation and will die in the process. Heavy Cavalry. For the horse, I recommend the Noldor Spirit Horse, or for more budget options, the Ironbred Stallion, the Ironbred Charger, or the Jatu War Beast. For the boots, I recommend any boot that has 34 plus armor points without caring for the weight and maintaining low cost. For the armor, I recommend any armor with 54 plus armor points without caring for weight. For the weapons, I recommend the Noldor Longsword for casual cutting damage, the Fierce Vein Curved War Axe for taking down shields, or the Doom Mace for the blunt damage if you want to capture prisoners for profit. For polearms, I recommend the Black Iron Spear or any version of the Long Knight Lance. For shields, I recommend the Noldor Enchanted Shield, the Noldor Noble Shield, the ASP Shield, the Kraken Shield, or for more budget options, the Noldor Infantry Shield or the Immortal Shield. Overall, your heavy cavalry man should look something like this. Horse Archers. For the horse, I recommend the Noldor Spirit Horse, the Noldor Gold Leaf War Horse, or for more budget options, go for the Noldor Grey War Horse or the Jatul War Beast. For boots and armor are the same as the heavy cavalry, but you can go a bit lower on the armor points of the chest from 54 plus to maybe 50 plus, since they will be in less contact with the enemy, unlike the heavy cavalry. For the weapons, we will have two versions. For version 1, I recommend the Noldor Composite Bow and 2 sets of Noldor arrows with a one-handed or bastard sword with long reach. This will make them more vulnerable to enemy fire and defenseless in close quarters, but the added benefit of the extra quiver is massive. For budget bows and arrows, go for the Hagstorm Bow and Ranger or Jatul arrows. For version 2, I recommend the same bows and arrows as version 1 but no extra quiver, and instead you can go for a shield from the heavy cavalry shields except the Noldor Enchanted Shield and the Asp Shield, as the Rangers will likely never break shields anyways, so you can go for more budget or okay high tier shields. For melee weapons, go for the same weapons as the heavy cavalry listed before. I will not recommend polearms for this build. Overall, your horse archer should look something like this. The heavy infantryman. For the armor, I recommend the Noldor armors since they have low weight and high armor values, or go for armors with 22 or less weight and 54 plus armor points. I recommend the Heraldic Elite Brigandine. If you don't care about the troop speed, then dismiss the weight altogether and go for the armor points. For weapons, I recommend weapons that have any of the special abilities of bonus against shields, like axes, or can crush through blocks like Morning Stars or Battle Hammers. But be careful, as the latter two are unbalanced, which makes the swing speed very slow and fainting the weapon extremely hard. So if your troops don't have enough proficiency points, they could get staggered to death before they finish one strike because of how slow they swing. I recommend the Dragonspine Axe, the Curved War Axe, Morning Star, Battle Hammer, Knight's War Axe, or Ebony Swords and Noldor Longswords if you wanna go for cutting damage. For shock capability, I recommend the Ancient Rune Axe, the Rune Silver Axe, or any of the hard-hitting polearms. Don't use spears, as AI will not use them properly, especially on foot. For shields, I recommend the Noldor Enchanted Shield, the Kraken Shield, the Asp Shield, or for more budget options, the Noldor Infantry Shield or the Immortal Shield. Overall, your heavy infantryman should look something like this. The Skirmishing Infantryman. Basically, grab all the armor, weapons, and shields from before without the chuck elements, and instead we will go for 2 extra throwing weapons, so our unit will be using a sword and shield as well as 2 sets of throwables. For the throwables, you must always go for the bonus against shield ability to maximize efficiency, so I recommend 2 sets of the Great Gaflax or the Empire Light Pila. Overall, your Skirmishing Infantryman should look something like this. Foot Archers. We will have 2 versions. Version 1 will have 1 quiver, while version 2 will have 2 quivers. For the armor, like the infantrymen, I recommend the Noldor armors or low weight armors with 54 plus armor value. I still recommend the Heraldic Elite Brigandine. For shields, I recommend a mid-tier shield like the Noldor Infantry Shield or the Immortal Shield, since they are rangers and not frontline infantry. For version 2, everything is the same as version 1, but we will take out the shield for a new quiver and turn the one-handed melee weapons into two-handed melee weapons, like the Ancient Rune Axe or the Rune Silver Axe, or any other two-handed sword. Overall, your foot archer should look something like this. You can turn the foot archers into crossbowmen or musketeers by following the same recommendations while making the appropriate changes in terms of weapons and ammo, but I don't recommend it since bows are much stronger because of their scaling and faster to reload compared to the Mittenheim Arbalist or the Berkeley Arquebus. This is the first of many upcoming Pendor guides that will overview a lot of topics in the mod, so consider subscribing if you would like to check those videos out. And if you enjoyed, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or need some extra information about the topic, feel free to tell me down in the comments and I will gladly answer them. See you next time and have a great day!